Flights from the UK resumed today after the government suspended services between India and the UK on the 23rd of December over the new, more contagious strain of the coronavirus. Delhi has modified its rules and there is utter chaos at the Delhi airport. Those are pictures from the Indira Gandhi International Airport in the national capital. Now remember, all those arriving from the UK who test positive will be isolated in an isolation facility. But Delhi has modified its rules where the government has made it mandatory for 7 days institutional quarantine for even those who test negative. So even if you're landing from the UK at the Delhi airport and you test negative in your RT-PCR test, you will still have to be mandatorily quarantined in an institutional facility for 7 days, followed by home quarantine for 7 days. These are the new rules that have been put in place by the Delhi government. Remember, the Delhi Chief Minister had appealed to the centre to extend the flight ban till the 31st of January, a demand that was not met. And now there is utter chaos that is being reported at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in the national capital, where passengers have landed from the UK caught unaware of the modified rules. So flights from the UK to India have resumed, but passengers, you can see there at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, furious with the fact that they were caught unaware of the new mandatory institutional quarantine rule. Now we have with us a passenger from the Indira Gandhi International Airport, Saurav Datta, who's landed from London. Saurav, thanks for speaking with NDTV. What's happening at the airport right now?
Yeah, can you speak a bit louder?
Yes, Saurabh, what's happening at the airport right now?
Yeah, it is fully chaos right now. If you can see here, we are inside this lounge, and outside there are a lot of officials, the security staff, policemen, CRPF, everyone, and we are being treated as in we are in cage here. And they are trying to make a business with different hotels. The hotel officials are outside, so they are making a deal with 7 days quarantine. And we took the flight yesterday, AI 112 Air India from London, when there was no such guideline that we need to get into Delhi for 7 days institutional quarantine. we have paid £200 in London to get it tested, RT-PCR test. It was negative. We showed the report to the desk in Air India. They provided the boarding pass. I am a transit passenger. My infant is here lying. She is not feeling well. She is ill right now, and we also have a boarding pass from Delhi to Calcutta, but they are stuck. We all are stuck right now. If you see the opposite here, so opposite me, this baby is only 6 months old. She is suffering from a critical illness. From UK, the mother is only accompanied by this child for treatment in Delhi, Amritsar. This kind of like 6-7 infants are stuck here, and this is a complete messy situation. If you can see everywhere.
Right. Saurav, were you not aware when you boarded the flight from London that when you land at Delhi, there is a new rule that's been put in place, which is mandatory institutional quarantine, even if your RT-PCR is negative? Have you already been tested at the Delhi airport, and how many hours have you spent at the Delhi airport already?
Yeah, when we booked the ticket initially for 26 December, then government cancelled all the flights, then flight got rescheduled for 2nd January, then again it got rescheduled for 9th January, then again rescheduled for 7th January. But in any of the Air India tweet or from ACI London, there was no guideline that we need to have been quarantined into India once we landed. Even when we boarded flight yesterday, there was no such communication, no such orders from government that we'll be stuck into Delhi. And
we got the letter today after reaching
so
the airport.
it is complete bullshit. Like when we are landing into Delhi, they are putting into
Saurav Datta, I have 2 quick questions for you. This is a new rule that's been put in place by the Delhi government. The Delhi Chief Minister has only tweeted, a couple of hours ago saying that there's going to be mandatory institutional quarantine, even if you test negative if you're landing from the UK. My question to you is, what time did your flight land? How many hours have you spent at the Delhi airport? And have you been tested? Do you have a COVID negative report after landing in Delhi?
We landed at 11 a.m. in Delhi time, and they provided the circular at 2:30 p.m. The SOP has been published on 2:30 p.m. 8 January. We landed into Delhi 8 January 11 a.m. So this SOP is not valid for this flight because the flight already taken off from Heathrow. It is landed into Delhi. The passenger, we already provided the RT-PCR sample, and now Kejriwal suddenly tweeted that new SOP has to be followed. This is completely bullshit. They are harassing me, harassing these infants.
Right. All right. I also want to ask you, have you been tested? Have you been tested after landing in India?
Yeah. After landed at 11 a.m., still if you see, they are still in the queue for testing. All the testing has not been done yet.
Tested after landing in India?
Yeah, it is still going on. All the passengers have not been tested. They couldn't able to collect the sample till now. It is already 6 hours already passed.
Okay, so you're saying that you've been in Delhi for the last 6 hours. You landed 6 hours ago from Heathrow, at which time you didn't know that the rule in Delhi had changed. That circular, that notification was issued at 2:30 this afternoon. However, what's also very shocking here is that the RT-PCR test after landing in Delhi has not been conducted, even though you landed 6 hours ago. What are the authorities telling you now?
It is being conducted for all the passengers, 250 passengers. It is taking around 6-7 hours to complete all the passengers. Right. And none of the test result has been given right now. And if you see the 6 hours we are waiting, our passport has been taken. Our main luggage has not been handed over to us.
Even for the babies are not handed over.
Our baby's pram, for infant pram, they have not handed over. So this is completely, they are harassing everyone.
Right. And what are the authorities telling you? What's going to happen now?
We just need to wait.
Authority is not a single face. Sometimes someone is coming and giving some direction. And when we are asking, give a proof, they are telling that I cannot give the proof. My senior will come. Like they are going into circle by circle. There is no particular authority who can take the decision here.
And have you been given, food, water, etc., any facilities that have been extended to passengers who've arrived on your flight?
Sorry, can you please come again?
I said, have any facilities of food or water been arranged for you?
No, this is the facility I am showing you. This is the lounge. There is nothing. Only there is sitting area, and they are charging around 3,000 for this lounge only.
Yeah, 2,600.
2,600 inclusive all taxes. They are charging this per passenger. And only there is a kind of this box they are providing for food. There is this kind of white box they are providing. So it's all cold food here. All this we are getting, all the passengers are getting with the price of 2,800.
All right. Saurav Datta, thanks very much for joining us live from the Indira Gandhi International Airport. Saurav has just shown you a first-hand account of what passengers who are landing from the UK are going through at the National Capital Airport right now. Saurabh, thanks very much for sharing that first-person account. We hope that the authorities are watching this story. They are watching what's happening at the airport, and we really hope that prompt action will be taken. Passengers from London have landed 6 hours ago. Their RT-PCR tests are still being conducted. The RT-PCR tests are still not over. There are passengers who have had to pay for this lounge access. There are very basic scanned facilities that are being provided to them. And they were caught unaware of the mandatory institutional quarantine rule that has been imposed by the Delhi government, causing a huge amount of inconvenience to passengers who've landed from Heathrow to the Delhi airport. You can see there on your screens, there are passengers with young infants, passengers with elderly people, passengers who are traveling alone, passengers who have connecting flights Remember, the rule said that you need to have a 10-hour window at the airport before you can book a connecting flight. So those are the conditions under which people who have landed from London are currently spending the last 6 hours at the Delhi airport. We sincerely hope that the authorities are watching this live report from the Delhi airport at the moment, and some cognizance will be taken of this matter and action will be taken forward, because it's a desperate situation as far as these passengers are concerned. For 6 hours, they've pretty much been stranded at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. We have another passenger now joining us, Mr. Shaju Jose from the Delhi airport. He's also landed from the UK. Mr. Jose, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please.
Yes, Mr. Jose, can you describe what's happening at the Delhi airport right now?
It is after confusion. With due respect to the officials here, they are trying to do the best they can under the circumstances. I was the first passenger to come out of the flight, and obviously, being the first day, they had no clear instructions. They did do whatever they could to help us, though initially there was a confusion. So I got tested around 11 o'clock. I think we landed at 10:45, and then in a few minutes I was out. So because I had already done the RT-PCR test in London, and also had pre-booked the test here in Delhi, I was ushered into the lounge, and since then I've been sitting here last 6 hours, and there are at least another 50 more to go. Then we have to wait another 4 hours before the result to come to see if anyone is COVID positive. And then they came all of a sudden from nowhere to say that an official will be coming and announcing. They haven't done an official announcement yet. They are saying someone would come and announce to you that irrespective of the fact whether you are positive or negative, you will have to go into institutional quarantine for 7 days before you can travel on. So I have seen a desperate passenger who came for his mother's funeral, was asking, going from pillar to post, asking, is there any way he can connect to Cochin so that he can attend his mother's funeral? But there was no answer from anywhere. There are old people, desperate, children crying, everyone, no one had any proper sleep. Of course, we have been provided water and light refreshment, and not a lunch or dinner.
Right.
Some snacks and plenty of water and tea around. I mean, I wouldn't blame the launch facility, because at least they are doing what is possible within their control. But having said that, it is completely taken unaware.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Jose, appreciate you for joining us here on NDTV. Another passenger who's landed from the UK in Delhi complaining about the fact that the authorities were not prepared. The regulation has changed last minute. Passengers have been caught unaware. This is a flight that's landed 6 hours ago in the national capital, and so far there hasn't been any clarity that's been given to the passengers on where they're going to go for this institutional quarantine for the next 7 days. Their RT-PCR tests have been conducted for a few passengers, but the reports aren't out yet. So chaotic scenes there at the Indira Gandhi International Airport in the national capital as flights land from the UK. India, remember, has resumed flight services, but clearly on ground, is India really prepared to deal with passengers arriving from the UK amid fears of the mutant strain of the coronavirus? Those are all questions that remain to be answered. We've tried to play out for you the first-hand account of what passengers are going through at the airport, and we sincerely hope that these reports will in fact be looked at very closely.